Let me at 'em!
Well, there it is. Hello and welcome to an update for WTii's Dalaran village. And you can already notice something's looking very different indeed. Let's start off by seeing if the description has changed. Not that I would necessarily remember exactly what it said. First of all, we need to find it. So we've got Dalaran village. So this is now Dalaran village, not Dalaran. And it's 4 versus 4, 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2, and free for all. One of the first Dalaran cities that's been destroyed by the Scourge has been retaken by a band of mercenary bandits and the restless elements. Who first takes control of it will have great power over these lands. Also, I think you need more spaces there. There we go. So, oh, well, hang on a second. Let's just double check one thing. Author Dreadlord, huh? And melee, latest patch. Good, good, good. Alrighty, so let's have a look at the entirety of this map, shall we? Just going to kind of ignore that marketplace right there. So, it looks a lot better now, aesthetically, in my opinion, as opposed to the previous version already. It feels more like an actual lived-in city, and the design has changed ever so slightly. It's hard to tell you without pulling up the other version, and that will just take quite a bit of time, so I'm not sure if I really want to particularly do that right now. But trust me, it definitely looks much more like a lived-in city. However, it does still look a little fake and artificial if you're looking at it from this angle, but at the same time, when you're zoomed into the game, it's not going to matter all that much. So you've got player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4, player 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 8 players. I don't think the spaces between the players has changed all that much. I'm going to need to keep an eye on that bridge and see if that's changed. I don't think the bridge has changed, which I mentioned in the previous version regarding sort of like people sort of coming over here and sending their militia off to harass. But anyway, let's move into player 1's position. So if anyone doesn't spawn for whatever reason, or it turns into a 3 versus 3, you're going to have these giant granite golems. So let's get these out of the way. Level 5 charged item. That is pretty damn good, actually. And it's not actually the most difficult creep camp actually in the world, but it is still a bit of a biatch to do, so it's kind of worthwhile getting that. It will take you time to do it, but yeah, that's pretty generous in terms of how powerful the creep camp kind of is. But at the same time, I don't really want you to pimp that up much more anyway, so it's not really a big issue because it's only the gold mine at the start, and you won't basically come across those creeps if you're to play this in a 4 versus 4, etc. So let's have a look then, shall we? We got level 1 permanent item, that's perfect. Well, mostly. If it wasn't for the mud golems, I don't think this creep camp's worth doing because the mud golems are so scummy. This one's much more worth doing, much easier, much lower level, and you get a level 1 charged item, which you didn't change because I told you level 1 charged items do not exist in this game. They don't. Look at that, there is no level 1 charged item. If you kill these creeps, they drop nothing. None. That's what you get. So that needs to be updated. Just make it like a level 2 power-up tome or something like that, or level 1 power-up tome, whichever you feel is necessary. Now the creeps, they have the lowest acquisition range, camp 200, so they shouldn't aggro. If they've basically got this blue hue over them, which you can see currently, it means they've got the minimum aggro range, so they shouldn't be pulling aggro. However, you will have issues here with pathing, and I'm going to state that in a moment after I have a look at these creeps and what they can drop. Free charged item, that's pretty good on that. Level 14, that's acceptable there, that's perfectly fine. These are pretty big lad, fairly tough to bring down, but doable and not a bad item at all. So you move into the middle if you want to from this angle here, or you move towards your player or your ally from this angle here. So militia here, near. To be fair, I've seen some 4 versus 4 maps that have basically the same sort of like distance between players. Look at Marketplace, for example. So I'm not really going to pester you too much about this bridge, because if you do move it much further down, you're going to kind of get issue with creeps, I think, being a nuisance. But I still think it could come down just a slight touch, but it's okay. Anyway, moving on over to the expansion is probably the same as before. And we're looking at a rock golem, level 3 permanent item. That's pretty damn powerful, to be honest with you. You're talking about claws of attack +9 with that shenanigans, or you know, even better potentially for Blade Master. Boots of speed. Yeah, I think that's quite generous. So I'd probably pimp that down to level 2 permanent item or level 3 charged item. Or level 2 permanent item and give one of these guys like a level 2 power up item. To be fair, it's not that bad. It's not the end of the world, but it's just sometimes it's a bit scary. Level 1 power up item from these guys and a level 2 permanent item. Yeah, no, to be fair, your itemization is pretty good. Pretty much spot on. So let's have a look at these up here at the top right. So we've got 8 levels in total, I think, with these. Quite an easy creep camp to do, generally speaking. Just a nuisance, and the items dropped are quite fine for what they are. Now you got the Enrage Elementals, level 2 charged, level 1 power up item, pretty low level, and then over here more sort of like levels to play with, 30 in total, and I doubt these have changed much. This is shallow water, by the way. You can step on this with ground units. Level 6 permanent item, level 2 permanent item. So really, really, really powerful items here, basically. But you have to come over here into the corner to take these down. But to be quite frank with you, if you are working well with your team or your ally, it would be in your interest to try to pull this creep camp off. And I think, generally speaking, you could do this because with 2 of you, you can kill like these creeps here pretty damn quickly and easily. It's just these 2 that you will have to spend a bit longer on. So you'd want to pull these back if you can, like over here, and hopefully not aggro these or these, and just try to pick off the little ones. They'll be annoying and keep running back, but as long as you can keep the attention, which you should be able to with 2 players, you can pick off the little ones over time. And you're only looking... Snare casters are a nasty bit of work, to be fair. So 2 snare casters, they ain't easy to deal with. They cast slow on you, so to be fair, this is pretty accurate, this creep camp. Overall, the level 6 permanent item is crazy though. Like, that is a huge item. So I would suggest trying to do this creep camp if you could as a team. Anyway, that's pretty much your symmetrical starting positions. Now we're moving to the slight middle place in between the 2 players where they might spawn, be they allies or enemies. And you do have this really cool looking camp, but players are going to have to really remember, and it's so hard to do. Like, I forget all the bloody time. That if you move from this position to this position, your units are going to take the shortest path possible, which is this path. And if these creeps, which I believe might shadow meld and wake up on night time, or, you know, activate when you run into them, you're going to aggro them quite often and probably take a lot of damage, because these guys cast poison spears, so that means you're going to take damage over time, and you'll just basically be quite miserable if you do aggro this creep camp. So that's just one thing to bear in mind, is generally speaking, even though I like how it looks, and you don't have to change it, you can keep it as it is, to be quite frank with you, because it's just part of the map and I can accept that. But personally, I always like to have camps like this, where creeps are sort of like surrounded by this kind of conclave of trees or obstacles to stop them or your units basically walking into them or right by them, causing aggro. I cannot stand that on maps, and there's still quite a lot of maps out there that have this issue. It's something that arguably as a player you should be looking for, but to be quite frank with you, it's far more of an inconvenience than it is a neat gameplay feature, in my opinion. So level 5 Enforcer here, level 3 permanent item, pretty beefy indeed. Level 2 charged item, considering the creep camp, I think that makes more sense, so definitely more rewarding. These 13, I'm still a little bit iffy about that. Level 3 permanent item, I think you can have it on him, but just bear in mind that if you got that and you got that, that's already potentially 2 claws of attack plus 9. Pretty crazy for Blade Master or most DPS heroes. But anyway, I won't pester you too much about it. Just consider knocking that down to 2 and pimping out one of these with a level 2 charged item as well, or something like that. Anyway, that's your creeps in between the players. The aesthetics look pretty good here. You've got a simple layout, but at the same time it distributes enough open space, yet gives players a pathway to take, so along the bridges, around the angles, avoid that if you really want to that way, or come up the long way around here, duck in and out. It's quite simple, but at the same time there's options for players to take in terms of traversing the map. We do have these over here actually. I didn't spot these ones. Let's have a look. Looks like a rock golem to me with level 3 charged item. Yeah, that seems more applicable. And definitely quite a nasty creep camp, but you do get yourself access to the goblin merchant. I wonder if Blade Master or a hero can come here when they're sleeping and not aggro. I think they can do, and still get access to the shop, so that's pretty cool. We got the goblin merchant, that's important. And you have your merc camp in there and your tavern for this player over here. And every player's got a tavern right by their main base. It's actually pretty good for harass purposes, like I say, again with the militia kind of thing. Not necessarily with militia, but you might want to pop over here, send a wisp, get a, you know, a panda or a goblin tinker right next to your enemy's main base and start dropping it, but I'm sure they can deal with it. It'll just be a nuisance more than anything. Okay, so we're going to move into the middle area now, and each of these is symmetrical by the looks of it, with slightly different terrain, which does look amazing. I will give you huge credit for that. I mean, this looks so cool. Sort of like the pathways there, the buildings in between. Players can roll around here or around here, and then you've got an open space here. It does look gorgeous. I will give you definite big props up for that. I do love the buildings and just the aesthetics in general. So your goblin laboratory, by the looks of it, has got an enforcer, and he's going to drop a level 3 charged item. So this is quite similar to these, except a little bit lighter, I would say. Level 15 in total, quite accessible, generally speaking, especially with 2 players. Over here, we got a much more difficult creep camp. We are looking at a red creep camp over here. But it's not impossible. They're just big, beefy guys, basically, that are going to drop a level 4 permanent item. So you're looking at your auras, that kind of thing. You know, unholy aura, the good stuff, basically. Your boots of Quell Thalassa, +6 agility, intelligence, strength, Famp aura, you know, True Shot aura, and the amazingly highly regarded Devotion aura, which all players seek. And that's with huge sarcasm I say that. And generally speaking, these creeps are pretty beefy, but quite doable, so I kind of like them. Level 23, pretty doable. You might be able to exploit and block them in a little bit, and flame strike the crap out of them, but that's fine. And over here, this needs to be the hardest creep camp, so hopefully these are, but I don't think they are. Although they do have a level 8 creep, which isn't easy to deal with. 1,100 health, you'd have to pull him right the fuck back. He's ranged. Level 5 charged item, that's really cool, because that's just another item that is going to have a high impact. I believe, in fact I'm not honestly sure. I've got an idea of what it is, but I want to check. Yeah, it was. It's the drakes, it's the spiked collars, the stone golem with the stormbolt, and the crappy talisman. Otherwise, potions of goodness and scrolls of healing and mana. So yeah, this is a big guy for you, and the creep camp is pretty reasonable considering what you're getting out of this guy. So it would definitely be in your interest to kill this, exploit that, and then use this Fountain of Health to kill these creeps. Keep pulling them over. They'll come to about this distance, and then they'll try to run back. With ranged units, or just generally speaking, standing here and doing enough damage, you might be able to keep sort of pulling them over and over. So the corner spots and the middle spots are definitely way more rewarding than the general spots, and I think that's kind of how it should be, because that requires teamwork and sort of like strategizing alongside your allies, and you will get rewarded for doing so, as opposed to just standardly killing the nearby creeps, which are mediocre, to be quite frank with you. And then smack bang in the middle, bear in mind that you do have a goblin laboratory, 4 of them, so there's almost no excuse to not be able to get a zeppelin. And you can get yourself access to the marketplace, which is probably going to be quite valuable this game. So this is a really funky way of doing things. Those fountains don't quite look right the way they are there, though. I'll just say that's an aesthetic thing. You might want to change that and maybe make it some sort of statue instead of these fountains, because you've already got fountains here. It's a bit overkill with these fountains here. Just turn them into a statue or something like that. That will look fine. And yeah, the marketplace, you'd have to drop your hero down, and that's obviously a huge risk, because if someone kills your Zeppelin or brings over air units and gets control of it, your hero's stuck. So you're taking a risk, a gamble to get to that marketplace. But with all of these powerful creeps, there's going to be some amazing stuff at that marketplace. However, there isn't a level 8 item. So none of the huge stuff that you might potentially get, Kellen's Dagger of Escape, Mask of Death, you know, Crown of Kings, that kind of stuff. And last but not least, we have our Fountains of Health that are much better placed. This one's a little bit funky, but that's kind of okay. It doesn't have to be exactly symmetrical. I'm just noticing it because I'm placing here, that, and then this one's kind of over here. But that's fine. It's fine, no problem. And also, the creeps are different for the Fountains of Mana. I should just point that out. But otherwise speaking, they look like the same for the other creep camps. And that they are. So let's have a look at the Fountain of Mana. What's this guy going to do? He's a level 8. He's a big guy. Level 4 charged item. That's fine. 1200 health. Not easy to pick off, but my goodness, getting the access to Fountain of Mana. These guys guarding it is going to be quite nasty though. But to be fair, they have so much mana anyway, they won't be able to cast enough spells unless you keep the fight going on for too damn long. And then you're back to your Fountain of Health. So top right and bottom left have the Fountain of Health, and top left and bottom right have the Fountain of Mana. But it's not exactly impossible to get access to the Fountain of Health. So this is really cool, actually. I think this map has huge potential now. I didn't like it so much the first time because obviously the game didn't play out as well as I would like it to, and there were issues with aggro. So hopefully, if those issues have been solved, we could have some fun on this. So we'll have to wait and see whether that happens. But this looks good. I mean, this is, you know, Blizzard worthy, or at least worthy of being on their map pool, I think. Most players will argue that this isn't worthy because they'd be wrong in doing so, and the internet is wrong, generally speaking, most of the time. It is a 4 versus 4 map that I would love to see pop up from time to time when I'm playing 4 versus 4, because I would just look at this and go, well, shit, I've got a lot of things I could do on this map. I could creep this, I could fast do this, or I could just take the expansion really fast and then tech up to tier 3, get air, go over here, then deal with this and use the gold and massacre. I don't know. There's quite a lot of stuff you can do. I'm just trying to think of weaknesses. Tanks would probably suffer on this map, to be honest. They can probably get quite easily blocked, and players could blockade by the bridges, but there's enough bridges to allow players to have alternate ways into their bases. So bear in mind that if you do decide to barricade, you are still vulnerable to air, because air would probably be quite powerful on this map as well, bearing in mind that the vast majority of the middle access points are sort of like blockaded by a river that ground units cannot pass by. So that's a slight concern, is that air might be too mobile on this map, whereas ground units are going to be quite heavily penalized by the multitude of bridges blocking pathways and clumping units together. But that's something you'll just have to take into account. You kind of want to hamper air as much as possible, because generally speaking, air is just too powerful in this game as it is. But I digress. That is subjective to how the game plays out, and we will see. Alright then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Take care. I'll see you later. Okay, let's give this Dalaran village that looks all the more prettier a go, and hopefully we'll have a very pretty game. I'm going to play human and stick an arcane tower inside of someone's base, or just by the bridge. Okay, so we're playing 4 versus 4. We've actually got everyone in this time, and I'm kind of on the outside, so it isn't like fixed. It's kind of, the positions seem to be that it can spawn you pretty much anywhere it wants. So that's interesting. I think I need to leave a gap for my Archmage to come in and out of my base, because even though I could get screwed by Orc and Blade Marsh and all that kind of stuff, I don't think I can risk not having a gap, because if I'm on the outside I could be more or less against the odds to some light degree. Actually, I think I'm going to go Rifleman. That will protect me even more. Hey, bring in that gold, boy. Yeah, I might go Rifleman this game, actually. Bit of range, never hurt no one. And that allows me to build enough buildings to block shit up. So that'll do. Not exactly sure who we got. Human, orc, and undead. That's pretty good actually. There's no night elf, no filthy night elf, so we don't have to worry about that. Might be somewhat passively aggressive this game. Mountain King. Yeah, I thought I had 5 there now. So a lot of trees, so that's good. Got more than enough trees, because that was one concern I'd have, is like, have I got enough space? I'm actually quite good. This is going to be one hell of a long pathway into my base, but that tree I think probably blocks heroes. So I might need to start chopping away at that tree if I can target it. So I know that's underway. That farm would do nicely. But we are in a strict situation where there be no woods, so let's hope there is no heroes coming my way, because I can't get an arcane tower just yet, unless these lads bring it in. So Mountain King is out and ready to play. I might be a little passive-aggressive, because otherwise he can't creep much by himself, and I kind of want peasants on wood. There's easy stuff to do, but remember this creep camp drops nothing, and the other creep camp has mud golems that are easy to do, basically, so... But at the same time, they're not really worth doing. So we're just going to go and see what my nearest opponent is up to, basically. See what makes them tick. Oh! Level 1 Mountain King strategy. Looks like he's going rifles as well. He's done exactly the same thing. Can I get the last hit, or is my Mountain King going to spaz? He's going to spaz. So I'll have to use the Stormbolt just to secure it. Okay. I think he was going over here to creep this with his Mountain King, but I don't think you can really get away with that. The map seems big enough now. Oh yeah, he is. It's like a Stormbolt steel. I mean, a death coil steel, but not quite the same. An expensive one. Even though technically it's 75 mana, death coil seems a lot cheaper for some reason. There's no items on those. Those are like the most pathetic creeps to fight over anyway. We know this guy, this golem drops a really nice item, so I'm going to actually go and do that, because I don't think he's too much of a threat right now, Mr. Blue. And I've got a bit of an army. In fact, I could probably potentially take an expansion with the amount of wood I should kind of have incoming. At the very least, I should be able to create this. The poison's going to be annoying versus all my militia, but as long as no one comes and ganks me. But like I say, I think I'm in a fairly solid position where I'm less likely to get ganked. So we get the claws of attack +9, which I was talking about. Pick off the rifleman. Mountain King would have been applicable there as well, to be honest. Oh, that was a cheeky hit. I wasn't paying attention to that. Nice one. Looks like I'm probably going to... If I build a tower first, I'm kind of like asserting my dominance. Build a couple of towers first, and then have no wood for anything else. I don't think there's any way he's done his. Nah. Oh wow, that is a bit of aggro. But to be fair, that's accurate aggro. That's not the map's fault. That is how rock golems aggro. You can literally get within like a split second of being within their vision, and then they aggro. They are very temperamental. Anyway, let's get one done. I don't think I'll worry about the other tower just yet. And we'll start getting an expansion underway. I'm just kind of waiting here a little bit to guard. Just in case. Because that expansion is pretty important. This looks quite nice. Allies should be able to get inside of here if they need to. Got more than enough peasants on wood. They're starting to split up now, but there's enough places to put down a lumber mill that it doesn't feel like it's a complete waste of time. That looks like the best place of anything. We have the Goblin Laboratory in the middle. We know that that's good to do. Got this red camp over there, but I can't really do that. It's not so much a teamwork aspect. So you've got basically 2 lots of solos and a teamwork in between. So the map has potential for that kind of like gameplay style, which is quite interesting. I'll come mid, because I think I've done what needs to be done over here. I think that should hold up, and I've always got Town Portal if not. There's not much else I really want to creep, because I know that the mid was good, and the Rock Golem dropped a very nice item. So it's these enraged water elementals. So I'm going to aggro that fucker. I have no idea whether I can do this or not. It looks like he hits like a truck, so probably not unless I get a really nice Stormbolt and surround. Oh shit, I can't Stormbolt these, because they don't care for it. I don't know if I can do that. As long as he doesn't run back anymore. I have to run that one back. Oh yeah, this looks okay actually. He's running back though. Stop fucking running back, you prick. Okay, we're just going to have to finish you watch it here. We've got this. Red Drake Egg. Okay, now we're talking. So we're going to kind of do that little exploit stuff I was talking about in the previous video. Or the previous part of the video. So even right now I can aggro the next camp. There we go, they sleep. Hit him once because he goes Divine Shield. And just Stormbolt anything else that, you know, might try to run away. If you want to keep it there. Generally speaking, this should be quite good. I've actually got him locked here. Don't particularly want him to hit him for the fountain, but at the same time, if I've got him locked, it's pretty nice. He's not even attacking my hero. Well, now he is. He's too busy trying to escape otherwise. Gold is flowing in. Oh, there's a terrible fucking lion. I got the dud. I got the dud one. I think that's too many peasants on gold. So yeah, the range units are pretty good for this. Gets a little bit clumped over here. I think I'm going to need a shredder, but I'm going to need to lose either a rifleman or a peasant. So I can do a lot of healing. Could also visit the marketplace if I really wanted to, but I've got enough gold to do it, but I don't think any super items are dropped. So we know that we've got the top right corner as well for potentially awesome items. He's coming along nicely. Could have just attacked him with militia, but never mind. May as well try and clear as much of mid as possible. Smack on the money, that one. Didn't even go into upkeep. Ah, well, more mana for my Stormbolts. And I'm going to flank from over here. Don't know how much my allies have got. This could put me in a lot of trouble, but at the same time I've got dominance over this. That's an interesting Grimrock Ghost there.
Righto.
Gotta be a little bit careful though. Mountain King is a little bit vulnerable. Being picked up from behind. And we are basically good for unlimited gold practically at this point. I'm abusing the hell out of these fountains. This looks like a kind of game where if you're winning, you're just going to win harder. Is the impression I get from this. I certainly don't need gold. There's one thing I've found out so far this game, is that I do not need gold. Okay. Let's check if they did any of the red spots by going to see the marketplace in the middle. It's kind of crappy. Health stone and stone token are good, but apart from that, not much else. Serpent Ward Harass. Oh, Belt of Giant Strength, I could buy that. Ah, it's begun, Mr. Felon. Let's teleport to that, because I ain't got much else better to do. Mountain King on Mountain King action, or maybe I just go for your units. What is this nonsense? Come over here and get your wood. Ah, you just pulled aggro. And unfortunately I'm going to punish every one of those towers. This is an unfortunate game for you. I think this Mountain King is well and truly out of control now. Level 5. If I get the hero kill, that's huge experience. There's my golems. Oh, hero focus. Look at that damage. Mountain King and Bash proc. And this cheeky death coil from off the screen. Oh my goodness. This game gets more and more tough and I've got more and more gold. 4,500. I forgot. That's why I've got so much gold. It's because I thought I'd tech to tier 3. Or I should be almost there so I could start spamming out griffins. Turns out, I didn't even tech to tier 3. Whoops. So, I've got a way to go. I may as well start building some fucking dragon hawks or something, because otherwise I'm doing nothing. Oh, you're back, are you? Ah, let's go. Multiple Mountain King. I'm going to one-shot your little one, no Darmonian. The Bash proc! Oh. Bash proc almost stopped me being able to pick up my Mountain King. It did. Luckily I came out of it before he died. Oh shit, I can't really risk it. Sorry, Rifleman. Your days are over. That's a lot of mortars. Kind of just slumming this with one Mountain King pretty much. Might just drop my Mountain King for occasional storm bolts when I feel like it. That's close. Is there another cheeky Stormbolt without the Zeppelin getting picked off in this night time? Oh, he's healed up a little bit on his Mountain King. It's kind of hard. Oh, Darmonian's Mountain King. Mountain King on Mountain King violence. Hey, there we go. One Mountain King down. More Mountain Kings to go. They're sneaking from the back from some cheeky Stormbolts. Oh, what the hell? That rifleman kind of blocked my vision. No. I'm letting you get all the kills here. I'm going to have to let him drop here, otherwise he would be buggered. And to be fair, he's buggered anyway. Okay, how long can you hold up, Mr. Mountain King? I can't use your Zeppelin. If you shared, I could use your Zeppelin. But it's up to the Mountain King now. Oh, maybe he can do this. Blimey. He's a bit like the Heroes of the Storm, Moradin. Really hanging in there. Hey! Oh, for God's sake. He did so well. So many Dragon Hawks. Because I haven't been able to build Griffins. Ah. Okay. Expensive Mountain King wants to go and see if there's any nice new items in the middle. To be fair, no one, or at least on our side, has done the red spot, so you're not going to see those super nice items until it's done. More belts of giant strength. Kind of kept me alive before in that fight. Yeah, the twin is doing quite a good job in the background. Scourge Bone just for the Mountain King. I don't think I can justify it. Let's bulk him up though. And then give him some mana. And then go pick on someone. because this game is already pretty one-sided. So we'll just go and seal the deal. If it isn't already sealed. I guess I abandoned the rifleman once I made the air. See even more mortars now. Alright, before I go and kill anyone, I may as well go and see what we're going to get from the top left in case anyone is curious for the map's purposes. I think this creep camp sleeps, so they should wake up in a second. Unless they've already crept it. Oh, they decided to creep that one. Pretty good freaking creeps though from there, to be honest. Mercenaries. Gloves of Haste, pretty nice for a Mountain King with claws of attack. Shenanigans, but I'd almost be tempted to drop the Lion Horn, but I know people have a go at me if I do that. I never give the Lion Horn any sort of like credit. Okay, so if we fight you, will anything else aggro here? It actually looks really nice, this area, when you're zoomed in like this. It looks like it's got more of this kind of glowy feel to it. Doesn't look like these guys are pulling aggro. Doesn't look like they're pulling aggro either. And I've pulled them back quite far. He just said accept the pain. That's pretty badass. Ring of Protection +2. That was the big one, wasn't it? Ah, Ring of Protection +4. Well, those are really tanky for a Mountain King, but at the same time, I'm kind of happy with the items I have. So I'm just going to leave them there and walk away. Someone can have a go at me. Alright, let's go punish Darmonian. Because this game has been easy enough for him as it is. So we need to give him a hard time. He's got steam tanks, for God's sake. Someone's got to stop him. I think I might be fully upgraded soon. No, not quite. I didn't intend to go solo Mountain King here. It's just something that happened. Oh, mass teleport, huh? It's pretty strong. Here comes the tanks. We'll deal with those pesky tanks. Don't you worry about it. Give me level 7. There we go. Oh, it's gyrocopters. Gonna need a few more than that. Okay, some mortars are slicing through this. Oh, we've actually got a big old battle. Let's have this last fight then, shall we? Oh, hang on a second. I don't have a town portal. Because I never fucking buy one, do I? Where was the shop again? Wasn't it in the corner somewhere? There we go. It's over here. I don't think there'll be a base to teleport to anyway. So if I'm going to the shop, instead of going from the middle, he actually prefers to take this bridge by default, which is actually pretty good actually. But this guy didn't. So he would have aggroed. That would be annoying. I'm going to do it. I'm going to sell the Lion Horn, even though it's amazingly better than any of these items, because I fucking hate it so much. That's why I'm selling it. Let's go. Some of that them there focus. Oh, Mr. Himself. The imbalance has arrived. The triple racks human player is here. think this game might be done. My Zeppelin, go check the middle. We must know. Ankh, that's pretty good, but that's if you expect to die. To be quite frank, I don't expect to die. Another Belt of Giant Strength is pretty insane. Also, Mask is pretty good at the moment. Mountain King has got really strong spells, so we want mana to kind of support it. Now I'm almost fully upgraded. You might need some wood.
More work? What is it? Yes, my lord.
That looks like GG to me. And there you go. Dalaran Village. It does feel much better now. Obviously I won that game, so I would say that, but I mean, I didn't pull aggro when I had my fights versus Felon earlier. I didn't pull in 70 different creeps to aggro me. Apart from this here, which I'm a little bit sketchy about, as you can see because of the pathway. The map seems pretty legit, you know. I don't see why this wouldn't exist in a 4 versus 4 ladder pool. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've seen so many of my 4 versus 4 RT games, and this looks like a map that would be on it. You know, this would be one your veto on or off. It just looks like it's part of the Blizzard map pool, to be quite frank with you. So, good job, really. I mean, if anyone wants to let me know in the comment section below what you think needs improving, I'm sure you've got some ideas, but those fountains, for one, they don't look like they're... But apart from those, yeah, it's good. It's good. Alright, well, there you go. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.